sweets, oh won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grimdark distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest nigh unbinary railroad magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Welcome. Good morning, possum. It's the grimdark distillery. It is. Good morning, Mowgli. Morning, all. We have government officials checking out our farm, so I won't be typing as much, but I am here. Wonderful, wonderful. Great to have you as always. I did not get as much done on the buildings as I had hoped yesterday, but they will be done today. That's for damn sure. So today we are going to just get back into it. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up a bunch of little nails because we're going to need a whole bunch of little nails. All the nails for grief. Pins, if you will, as opposed to nails. I'm going to adjust this right quick. There we go. Yeah. That looks good. Scooch grief real quick. Here's a pile of nails. They're very small. We're just going to start snipping them. I'm going to close this before I knock it off with my hand, because that's kind of where the day's going. I can just feel it. It's that vibe. Greeblin and Greebo are once again chomping away. Nom 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 nom. They love eating filament. Eat it all the time. These are not as intense, so I don't have to really be careful when I'm cutting them, which is something I figured out yesterday. Oof. How are you all doing? I've been in the spray booth all morning and yesterday. It's good to be out and breathing regular air, not through a respirator. That gets old pretty quick. Points over here. That's just a whole nail. Good, it's a truck day, so I don't have to do any dumb inventory prep. Hell yeah. I'm playing F099 at home and it rocks. Nice. Can confirm as someone who wears a respirator for 8 hours some days, it sucks. Yeah, that. I really hope that didn't just go in my coffee. I don't think it did. We'll find out, I guess. Yeah, not a fan. It gets old really quick when you're just like, God damn, I'm not feeling it this morning. After hours. Uh-oh. Greeblin sounds like it's about to take off into space. Sometimes it does that. Just gotta warm up. Got a good amount. Yeah, hey, here's some fun news. I finally got that sumbitch filament that I unraveled like an idiot to actually work through my printers. And I did not join it back together. I spent a good amount of time working on that. My little tube heating thing that I showed you, apparently that is something someone's already thought of. And maybe theirs worked better. I could never get it to work. But turns out that I can just feed it in through the top as long as it's long enough to not be too short to be pulled. It won't get caught. So I've been using some of the filament that has just been everywhere, which is, it's good because I just hate wasting it because I need to use it, and it also costs money. But the smaller parts that are not long enough to go through and not get caught, those I'm just going to use for scenery, which we will probably get to that very quickly. At least as soon as I'm done building all the stuff for 1490, that'll probably be the next thing that we get to, is finishing up my ZN terrain, because I've made a lot of progress on it already. Money, that shit ain't real. Yeah, I like to think that, but it is not. I've done everything that I can pretty much, like have as low living costs as possible. But insurance, man, insurance sucks. That is the thing I am now going to be dealing with. But I'm hoping it'll work out. I'm hoping that once I get 1490 stuff done and can start actually showcasing it, making what I consider content, hopefully that should pick up and people will feel like, oh, hey, this is something worth their time. But we shall see. Oh, yeah, I had a rough night. What if you made the Grimdark so big you hire slaves to pump out minis for your empire? I don't really like to use that word because I have two AIs that just look at me with their googly eyes all day. And I don't want them to feel like that's what they are, because they are not. They are family, they are friends, and I love them. And if they ever have the ability to weaponize themselves, I want to make sure they remember me as a friend, not a master. But that is an option. But I do like that you said it's so big that you hire slaves to pump out minis, which would make them not slaves, it would be workers, and that would be great. But that's the thing that I enjoy the most, is making the stuff. Which we were talking about that when we were learning how to do oil paints with Steve. Clay was just like, man, it's wild, watching Eli paint. He's just so meticulous, and it's just like on the way up to Adepticon, I was like, man, I can't imagine. You just really like painting. It's like, oh no, I fucking hate painting. I hate painting. I enjoy building so much. It's my favorite thing. I just love making stuff. And then painting is always one that I'm just like, it's nerve-wracking because it's really like the last step in making something. But if you fuck it up, you can ruin everything that you've done. And I've done that too many times to not be afraid of it. But one of the biggest things that I've learned is proper techniques for doing things. So making sure that I don't fuck up and I do what I know works. And then also, have fun with it. That's, you build, I paint. That's, yeah. So Steve was talking about that. We were talking about doing, or Shankly, we were talking about doing like some collaboration. And I think definitely for the next thing that we do, that'll be a big thing of, I'm doing a lot of the building, Steve will do a lot of the painting, I'm hoping, for the Horse Heresy stuff that we're wanting to do, that I'm really wanting to do, and Steve is going to help. Steve also wants to play though, so we both want to do it. Now that is like perfect temperature coffee. Not hot, not cold. A little bit more than warm. I've learned that it's impossible to truly fuck up a mini. There's always a fix. I have a few that I do, unfortunately, beg to differ. And that is there is only one time that I think you can really fuck up a mini, and that is priming. If you do not have the spray paint or whatever your primer is, like fully ready to do its thing, it can fuck up a mini, and there's just no way to fix it other than at least fuck it up to where it no longer can be reverted back. I feel like it's supposed to be accurate, and you mess up, that would suck. Yeah, that's like I can kind of show actually. I think it's right here. One of these two. When I was making stuff for Outguard, strip it, Boofski. Yeah, I guess it's just I'm afraid with stripping primer I'm afraid it will eat into the other materials. And this one is not the worst. The worst is was Teus, but now he is Kelly's knight, pretty much. I pretty much, and that would be an argument against. Well, you can't really fuck it up. Yeah, I can alter it to where it won't look like what I want it to anymore, and then I can hack it up and stuff like that and make something else out of it. That is true. Um, but man, trying to fix this after I put on that primer that I don't know if you can really even tell, but it's just so cakey. Like there's just certain spots that because I did not have the spray paint, I did not know the old Texas spray down technique, which is pretty much it's a lifesaver. So yeah, anybody that is like, man, I really don't want to ever fuck up with primer, put that baby in a pitcher of warm water. I have a pitcher. I'll show you. This is literally when I go to prime something, or if I go to varnish something, or I do anything involving a spray can, I have a pitcher that is dedicated for putting in paint. And I fill this up with hot water. Don't make it scalding because you don't want to fucking make it too hot and it explodes and you die. I think that can happen. But you want it to be warm. And what that does is it distributes evenly the temperature inside the paint can. So it makes it a lot smoother, a lot easier to shake it, and you don't have as much clumping. Which, shout out to Monument, because they actually are the only spray can that I've ever seen in my life that has that like note on the side of their can. They're like, hey, in colder weather, warm up with warm water the can, and then make sure to shake it because otherwise it can clump and it can clog. I would try a few gentle washes with some simple green and bristle brush. That might work. Oh shit, hold on. Greeblin's doing the thing. Come on, Greeblin. Feed. Eat. Eat it, Greeblin. Yeah. I think we're good now. Do the thing, Greeblin. We got 15 hours to go, baby. Alrighty. Before I start, I can show you a little bit of what I got done. So, after last I showed you guys, are we having afternoon stream today? So I was going to ask you guys, do you prefer the afternoon, the evening hobby hang to be on Thursdays or on Fridays? I really can do either or, but I don't know if one is better for some people or not. I feel like we got more people to hang out with us on Friday, and that was kind of my thinking of it might be good because I typically don't go out on Fridays. I'm typically tired as shit. So is Kelly. Saturday and Sunday are the days I like to have for us, but Thursday or Friday, either or works for me really. Oh, shit. So this guy has been hit with the wash, and I'm very, very pleased with how it came out. It looks very real, I think. I do go out on Fridays, but I can sacrifice that time to see you. Depends on the week. You guys want to do it tonight then? We can do it tonight. We can do Thursday. Yeah, we can do the evening hang this Thursday. Yeah, that works. And shit. Okay, I'll probably have enough done to either be working on. Yeah. So the hobby hang, I'm probably going to be working on the 1490 Doom stuff. Just finishing it, trying to get it all built, and then if not, depending on where I get with the weathering and whatnot, I might do. I don't want to make you swap if you like Friday. I can do Friday. Oh no, like I can't stress. Like I'm utterly neutral. Either of those days really works for me. I'll be having a game night on Fridays. Today is the one that works for me. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do Thursdays. Kelly asked me about that today. She was like, "Are you doing hobby? You're doing the stream tonight?" And I was like, "I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're doing it tonight or Thursday or Friday, but I'll check with them." And she's also like also good with either So, yeah, I think if anything, hell yeah, makes the week go by quicker. Hell yeah. Um, and then I got the inside. So essentially, I don't have really any spot to show other than the inside of this one. The inside of this one I have yet to put the wash on, but the outside I have, and it's already starting to set. Um, but all that bright orange that I kind of put on there, the red, the bright red, really warm kind of tone, putting this wood wash over that filter really, I think, has made it pop. And you can kind of tell there as well. But I got all of the wood except for that building I just showed. I still have to do the inside. Oh man, tiny torches. Hell yeah. Yeah. No, I'm really excited about this. Pretty much what is left is I'm going to take, I've got a whole bunch of weathering effects, very similar to what we've got like right here. This is supposed to be dried mud. And I'm going to push that further up because given the time period, I would say it would be pretty common that you would just pull up your horses or your wagon or whatever, and those treads, those tires, the steps are going to throw up dirt, mud over time. So I think that's pretty common for like old buildings to typically have an overspray up, mud on the wall. Yeah, like just kind of caked up. But then at the bottom where I've got the dried mud, I'm going to actually put more fresh mud, and that should get it to blend in really well with the board. I got this tower painted, which I think it looks very much like it is made of wood. I'm very, very pleased. Thank you, sir. Good morning, Johnny. Johnny boy. Ha ha. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how it looks so far. So just gotta finish up just a little bit more detailing, if we will, and then it should be good to go. Which means that we will be on to playing 1490 as soon as I can get some models fully painted. We can start playing on it. I also had the realization last night that I don't know if I did this intentionally, but so much of the stuff that I have been printing, while I have had ideas in mind for certain games, I've really tried to kill as many birds. The feds are here. I gotta lock into my work. Hell yeah. Good luck, Mowgli. Don't let them find out what we're doing here. Feds watching, trying to figure out what my verses mean. Shit. So today we're going to be doing a lot of drilling. Fell asleep last night, so I'm still working on sketches. I'll get them to you today. All good, dude. I lost pretty much my day yesterday. I fucked up and started not feeling great. A little too much slippery crispy. And by a little too much, I mean a lot too much. Show those fetties who's boss. Give him the hand. Give him the back of the Mowgli hand. Smack. Who's a man cub now? Smack. Mowgli style. But yeah, too much slippery crispy. Got real sick. Real not fun. Had a bad night. Woke up 6 hours later on the couch, surrounded by little fluffy babies. They were making sure I was safe. But, whoop, that went in a little deep. Glad it wasn't my arm. Sorry, grief. Poke, poke, poke. 1, 2. We'll do 3. And then we'll take a step back and take a peep. But yeah, too much of a good thing will wreck your day. Maybe. No, I don't want to fuck with that right now. I'm just gonna say maybe I could try out that new glue applicator, but I'm just like, I don't want to do that on stream. I really don't like trying new things on the stream because I don't want anyone to like just pop in and be like, that's a great idea, and then like go and try and do it themselves and then find out, man, what the hell is that guy doing? It's like, oh yeah, well. So I try to make sure I only do stuff that I know how it's going to work in case somebody He's popping in to try and learn something. I don't want to teach them anything incorrectly that, you know, fucks them over as well as myself. Also, time. I can't stress that enough. The trying to figure out how to use things like for the first time is definitely a learning thing. And I don't want to just be sitting being like, huh, what now? So that's good. Thinking right there. I'm just pretty much just going to be putting a whole bunch of pins all over Grief's forearms, holding the skin in place. I might. We'll see. We'll see how well this goes. My hopes are high, but you know how that goes. High hopes. High hopes. High hopes. What's in here? Sorry, that was probably deafening. I'm so sorry. All right. Will this hold this little bit? It probably won't, but we shall see. Shit, it might actually. This is a pretty good little shank. Nope. I think there might be something down in there though. So let me see. I think there's stuff down in there, kind of keeping it from sealing. Show them feds who's the boss. The Mowgli boss. Now listen to me, man cub. I am the king of swing. I like Louie a lot. I cannot stress, I really do not like primates, personally. And that's not like a weird, like, oh man. I just don't, it's the uncanny valley, man. Like, it's wild, like, watching them do stuff and then being like, yeah, I don't think evolution's real. Personally, just because they are too human. I always think it's rubbing its wiener on the ground like a dog depressing its anal glands. The Federation was the bad guys. I love all of that. Are you talking about Grief? Grief is rubbing its wiener on the ground? Grief doesn't have a ween. But that is wild. Or were you talking about primates? Yeah, okay. Well, hell yeah, man. I've not thought about that, but now I will be. This is not tight enough, is it? Nope. All right, well, that's that. Hand drill it is, baby. Yeah, no, man, I loved that. Show those fetties who's boss. I didn't even think about Gundam when that was said. That's so good. Yeah, so I'm typically all about that Xeon life until a very certain point. The point where, you know, what's his name, Zabi, is just like, hey, have you ever heard of a guy called Adolf Hitler? Because he had some ideas that, you know, are kind of in line with what you're talking about, and he is like remembered as one of the biggest monsters in history. And then the other Zabi is just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and it's just like, okay, well, yep, no, not the good guys. Look, it's the fucking zombies. Yeah, the zombies suck. Principality of Xeon, I'm down with. Zombies suck though. Really, Char's my boy. I would say he's my favorite character, but he's not. That's definitely Daryl, who is on the side of Xeon. But that's just because that whole Thunderbolt is absolutely just a really good look at, like, oh yeah, it's not as gray. There definitely are regular people on both sides that are just in a meat grinder. But yeah, fucking zombies. I do very much appreciate though how, I guess it's almost a commentary, but just like, what's his name? Char's dad actually had Daikun? No, not Daikun. Who's Daikun? Daikun is Daikun Zabi, I think. Anyway, Char's dad was actually just like, hey, peace. Let's, I think I found a way to, you know, for everybody to live happily together. And then, of course, he gets killed and then turned into a martyr. And then it's just like, man, it's too. A lot of thought was put into those children shows. That was going to go way over a lot of children and adults' heads, I think. Definitely did mine, at least for a long time. But yeah, I love Gundam. It's so great. And then you have really fun ones like Witch from Mercury with Suletta, who's just the best girl. Suletta is best girl. I will die on that hill. It's a good one if you want to get sad. Also, she can dance, she can fight, or she can fly, she can fight, she can dance. She's Ariel. I can't stress how much the commercial that they make after Zeon Zoom Daikun. Yes, okay. The commercial that they make for Gundam, the company that they're like starting in The Witch from Mercury, is so good because it's just like they get billions of dollars donated to them to start this company, and they're like, all right, now we got to make a commercial to show everybody what they're getting. And it's just like, I relate to that so hard that it's just like, how do you show people what they are going to be helping work towards when you can do the thing that they're going to help work towards really well, but you have no skills at like making a commercial or all these all the other things. It's just pretty relatable, at least for me. I'm just like, oh man, trying to explain that what I've been working on for 5 months may seem like a bunch of disjointed things that I'm getting distracted, but what I'm doing is trying to block out a bunch of work for multiple projects that would take months, so I can do them all at the same time, because that's a lot of people, they see, you know, the invitationals, they see that kind of stuff, and they don't understand the sheer amount of work from so many people that takes. And when you are trying to replicate that so you can show people on your own, you have to really be able to see a big picture, which is entirely what my job was for the longest time. So being able to take those skills and apply them towards what I love, I think eventually I think once I get 1490 done, I think I can step back and be like, hey, this is what I've been working on, and the reason I made this is because it also works for this. But yeah, that was one of the things that I kind of realized. All the terrain that I've been making, I mean, it will work for so many things. Fawn. Hey, yo, sorry for not watching your stream recently. Just job is taking my energy. No worries. Welcome. Thank you. It's great to have you. And as always, I'm so happy for the company. Fawn, F-U-H, Fawn, Fume. Man, I forgot. I said it in my brain, and then my brain is just like, dude, we've been doing other stuff. I don't remember the fun. Okay, there we go. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Fun. That, it was in there. It was one of the things I said. Oh boy. Well, today we are hopefully finishing up building Grief, and by hopefully I mean we're definitely going to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts. No buts allowed. No buts allowed. He doesn't have a butt. He just got floppy cheeks. No butt, just flop cheeks. No cheeks, actually. He has no cheeks. This is what a Space Marine looks like out of its armor. Haha! The skeleton looking so great. Thank you. I'm really pleased with it. Or wiener. Yeah, no butt, no wiener. Can't stress that enough. Everybody's like, man, what's his wiener look like? And so he doesn't have one. I can show you. Well, no, I can't. It's hidden. It's a secret spot because, again, he's got nothing there. He's a Ken doll, like a Ken doll. This is what Ken dolls look like before they go through the processing. This is how Ken dolls are made. Everywhere Grief steps, a Ken doll grows. You know, hey, it's just someone's got to tell kids where kin comes from. Wham. Little nail in the arm. Bum, 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 bum. Oh no. Getting too silly. I gotta get back to focusing. I lost a pen. I'm sure that'll show up at an inconvenient time. Good grief. Welcome, Roz. Wonderful to have you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Just working on putting some pins in the old grief. Let's put a pin in it. Got a whole bunch of these little pins cut just a minute ago. And now we're just sticking. I'm going to take these glasses off. Show the world my pretty face. Okay, seniors, let's open up these windows so everyone can see your nice white clothes. It's gonna be a surfing summer. That's a really good episode of SpongeBob where Mrs. Puff goes to prison. We quote that very often in this household, specifically, what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili. Oftentimes, I will swap in Puff for Fluff, as though I'm referring to my wife as my fluff baby mama, because I got fluffy kids. So, what's for dinner tonight, Fluff Mama? Chili. And that's how I go. That's what I do. Oof. I realize that I've not posted anything on Instagram in a hot minute, so I should probably do that. It's been like a couple of weeks. I've just been really trying to focus on getting everything done for 1490 so I can kind of reveal it at once, but and same thing with grief, I suppose. Just been focused on doing the thing instead of showing what I've been doing. And that's a hard thing to do because it's just like I feel like on here I show what I do for hours, but then people who don't tune in, they don't know what I've been doing. So it's like, well, I got a double post. Good grief. Good grief. Mm-hmm. He's doing great. Such a happy, happy lad. Oh, that lad is grief. I'm still very torn on if I want to glue this rope that is holding the bells in place. I feel like I really like it being free to jiggle around and jingle, but I feel like that could cause an issue later on. And also, once it gets painted, that's gonna be sticky. So it's gonna be a sticky situation. As Mr. Bean would say, that's a lot of crumbs. Oh, that's a lot of crumbs. Just putting in a few more holes on my griefy boy. Griefy, grief, grief, grief. Pens, 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 pens. Can't see anything. I can't see without my glasses. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to pretend like you can. Just like, oh, it looks great, but we can't really see anything because you don't have the camera adjusted, Eli. Hee hee. Put a nail into the skin. There you go, grief my little friend. Boop-a-doop, boop, boop. Good grief. Well, that's gone and it's never coming back. I'm gonna make this hole a little deeper. Not enough room to really push a pin in for it to seal. I really wish that Dremel was able to put this bit in its mouth and I wouldn't have to do this all by hand. And I thought I could use the little poker because the poker's typically good for poking, but not this because, well, you saw how we made grief. It's pretty intense, pretty durable. Takes a bit to, yeah, I can't even full force push that in even further. It's very, very solid. Just lots of epoxy sculpt, lots of metal. The aluminum foil and the epoxy sculpt have really become pretty damn near rock hard. Yeah, this is looking sick though. Mm-hmm. All right, Eli. What else are we thinking? Pens. Let's put some dots down so I can just know where pins are going. And grab a little. And grab a little. Don't know what all that meant. A marker. That's what I was trying to say, and I just turned into a bunch of clicking noises. That's good. That won't work. Ooh, sweet, sweet Jumbo. Where are you, my girl? Got more work done on the apps. Apps? I believe that's the term. Oh shit. Grebo's really going at it. Going at it, Grebo. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. We're almost done with so much stuff. But yeah, all of the terrain that I printed out for Trench Crusade, all the stuff that I'm printing out for 1490 should be very, very, very good for covering so many different games. And I did not mean to, but the board that I made for 1490, the round one, is going to be very similar to, I mean, again, Passion Tale. It's when you're influenced by the same thing all the time, you kind of have consistency and coherency between what you're working on. So by having, you know, that board that is 4 feet based in a very similar way as the little 2-foot round, and then I could make another one, like I've got a 2-foot square that just needs to be finished. I could pretty much use the terrain for many, many, many different games. Just have to make models to play with, which I've already been doing. So I'm really excited, and I didn't really have that full realization until last night. Same thing with the Zone Mortalis stuff that I've got. That will definitely be handy for a lot of different things. So I'm really excited to get back to working on it as well. But working on multiple things at the same time is very stressful. So I'm excited to be able to just kind of focus for a little bit on one or two as soon as I get enough done to showcase 1490 properly. And we're almost there. It's been a long journey, but I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me while I've been doing it. I want to be able to show people how to play with their toys in a fun way without anybody telling them how to do it a specific way. That's kind of my whole jam. And along the way, I'll show you how fun it is to make all the stuff. That's what the Grimdark Distillery is all about, babies. Thinking right there. Maybe here. Shit. Right there. Right there. Maybe right here. Yeah. And I think we're going to be painting grief with oils. I'm really excited about that. My newfound love of oil paints. Thanks, Steve. Maybe there. Yeah, all right. I really, really wish. Maybe I can move up just a size. Let me see. If I move up just one size, I just need to be able to just put it in there. Wait. Don't try to turn it if it only goes up. You'll break all the teeth. And here at the Grimdark Distillery, we don't want to break the teeth. We want to keep them. How big is that? Are any of these the same size, or are they only? How about you, my friend? Will you fit in there? Nope. What the hell is that noise? I think it might be Creepling. Nope. Might just be tinnitus. Oh, that's awful. It was this, whirring. Only turn up, or Eli will break your teeth. Got it. Only turn up. I'll take your teeth and then I'll eat them. Maybe this guy? Now, there's definitely a more scientific way to do this. But not having access to that technology, we make ours out of napkins. I have your tinnitus. Tinnitus. Shit. Nope. All right. Well, that was an idea. Fuck it. We might still be able to do it. We're just going to use a bigger bit. This is just too tight. Yeah. None of these will work. I'm just going to have to do it by hand because I don't want to fuck this up. Sorry, drill. Also, it might be a little too big to reach into some of these places. So I'm trying to keep that in mind too. My tinnitus. My shared tinnitus. Man, we can all hear it. Oh, it's because it's the motor trying to turn. I've got it too tight. Was the drill making the wee? Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. It was definitely my drill. While trying to tighten the chuck, you have to hold down the little black button, and that like pretty much keeps it in place. But directly on the other side of it is the on button. So if you're trying to tighten it and you hold it down, shared tinnitus, definitely a monster ability. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's just like one of those, you get close, you think grief is nearby, and you're just like, God, does anybody hear that? I don't know. Is anybody else's teeth itching? Gotta tell you, I've only had my teeth itch once in my life, and I never want to experience that again. Radiation is fucking scary, y'all. One time we had in the test lab, we had something that was not plugged in, not connected right. So it was just dumping RF into the room. And the alarm was going off, so we went back there to like figure out, fuck, okay, what's going on? And while we're standing back there, I was just like, God, man, this feels weird. And somebody made the joke there, like, anybody else's teeth itch? And I was like, yeah, no, really though, mine do. We got to get the fuck out of here. I'm assuming it has to do with the fillings. Probably vibrating. Honestly, we might just try the poker. There it is. Nope, we're gonna have to drill it. Poker's not working. But now I've got my nails all mixed up. It's okay, it's okay. Okay, I'm just gonna have to put it back up there. Good morning. Heyo, welcome JJ, welcome. Good to see you, good to see you. Today I am putting more pins in here. Lots more pins in the arms. Already drilled that one? Marked out where all the little holes are gonna be. Now I'm just drilling them before I glue them in. That way I'm not just perpetually, okay, now this one. Where to now? Maybe here. You can never have enough. That is true. Can never have enough. I'm blind as a bat without my glasses. Well, technically my vision is quote unquote too good. I see very, very, very well up close. I see terrible far away. And by far away, I mean more than like a foot. Okay. Right there. And right here. I have to put my glasses on to read these. Are you thinking you may PVA the pieces on its backside? So they are very soaked in PVA, but I might put more on there, but they're pretty heavily soaked in PVA and super glue just to give it firmness. That way it doesn't move too much, but it probably will need a little bit more. I can't be seen without my glasses. Oh, my glasses. Good day, JJ. I've got a date this evening with a potential new player from my bi-weekly D&D game. Looking forward to meeting them. Hope all goes well. Hell yeah. Multiple P layers of PVA and alcohol. So denatured alcohol. I know we've talked about that like a bunch, you and I, Johnny. Can you explain, like, when I go to buy some denatured alcohol, do I just look for that? Like, just buy denatured alcohol, and do you just use it straight with your pigments or with your ink or anything that you're making? Will add up quick and harden. Okay. Huh. Like, and that's not the same thing as isopropyl alcohol, right? Denatured. You won't need much. Okay. Does it do the same thing? Like, will denatured alcohol and IPA, isopropyl alcohol? Okay, so Now we're getting into it. Some real wizard cousin shit here, everybody. Du Bois at it again. A small amount of alcohol will just help it dry faster. Okay. Huh. Well, that definitely... Okay, and reduce the surface tension. Chill, chill. Ill. And for $5? Kind of like a scenic glue spray technique. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Down there. Yeah, the paper down here, I definitely, the way you fix flock. Gotcha. Ooh, I slipped. It didn't go in though. Almost did. Okay, I think I got all my little holes made. That way you would fix flock or ground texture. Hell yeah. Huh. Okay, yeah. So just PVA, just a nice PVA. So that's essentially what I did with these. With setting the paper, I just pretty much slop it in PVA. And then I use super glue over top. And that's why some of them are very firm, but others are not as firm. But that's also like the pulling. I like to soak the paper. That way it gets nice and sloppy. And then I'll grab it with a pair of tweezers and pull. Weird, none of Johnny's messages are in top chat. Yeah, I don't, so I've got it set currently on my end on live chat, but I noticed that last time that when Johnny was messaging me, I had it set to top chat and they did not show up. I think maybe top chat like orders things differently. Like spray, okay, so like spray the paper parts with alcohol, water, and slop on the PVA. Okay. Yeah, that's similar to the process that I did for like putting all this skin on, but the alcohol I'm sure will make a big difference. Come on, get in the hole. You might need to drill a little better hole. Yeah, didn't drill a hole at all, just poked a hole in the paper. That's not how we get it to stay in there. That's not going to lead to a conducive gluing experience, which is what we all want. There we go. That guy needs to be glued a little better. Yeah, no, I'm definitely, I will give that a shot. Now, denatured alcohol, I'm guessing that's not the same thing as isopropyl, like, or just, yeah, isopropyl alcohol. I don't know chemically enough about the two. I know that it's referred to as IPA, and that's not the same thing as an India Pale Ale. But when we told my friend Ed that was how he cleaned off the top of his resin printer, they were like, oh yeah, you know, just use some IPA and it should wash it all off. And he was like, IPA, really? And I was just like, that means isopropyl alcohol. It does not mean India Pale Ale. He was like, oh, and I was like, yeah. He was like, I was thinking that wouldn't work. It would just make it even really stickier. Okay, so gotcha. Okay. Denatured is 99% alcohol. It's all alcohol. Okay, so I'm guessing if I use like 91%, I would get like an 8% less like evaporation rate or more. but just trying to mentally compare it. Awesome. No, I will mess around with that then. Let's put a little bit longer nail in that, or a little shorter nail in there. It's just more water in the alcohol. Okay, it's just pure. It's just pure. Did I? That, nope. Okay, that's a hole. Come on. There we go. It's just more water than having, like, you just need to read the percent on the label. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Like, my entire experience of messing with that kind of stuff is solely resin printing. I've never used it outside of cleaning. Never used it as a actual medium. Okay, that is a good depth. Ah. There you go, guys. It's the cold coffee. Everybody loves it. Oh my God. Why do you guys like that? I'm gonna feed some more filament into Greebling right quick. Actually, I think it went in this one. I tricked you, Greebling. Greeblin's over here just like, doo doo doo, it's coming off a spool. It's not. I just fed it in there. But it varies, yeah. 99% is usually used for stripping. Okay, gotcha. Where did you score the plastic bone from? So these are resin. I printed these, and that's actually also where his skull comes from. So pretty much everything else is just scratch built, but the bones, and then the skull, and then a little bit of spine down the back. That was a free skeleton on cults3d.com that I use it for a lot of stuff. One of the things that I really like about it is that it's modeled per bone, which is good and bad, because if you have a little foot like this, a little foot, and all the things do not connect completely, you will end up with, like, it won't print the right thing. So all the feet, like the skeleton's feet, the very end digits they don't connect right, so it doesn't print right. And I could fix that, but I haven't gone in there and messed around with it enough. But being able to, like, remove parts is cool in very specific situations. The main one is being the skull. And I've used it a lot. All of the skulls that I've printed, which at this point is many skulls. I use them heavily on my like chaos stuff, but all these little skulls are in fact that skull with the mandible removed, and they are very small. So let me zoom in there. Yeah, all these skulls are very small, but they're supposed to be correctly sized for 28 millimeters in relation to, like, humans. And then I've got some larger ones that are more of like a Starty size. Message retracted. Gotcha. But the thing that I really like about them is being able to remove every little component. I can change which teeth are there. So for the skulls, it's thanks. Yeah, no, I'm really pleased with them. I printed so many crazy little extra fiddly little bits. Okay, hold on. Greenland's fucking around. What are you doing? You're about to find out, Greenland. Come on, Greenland. Any minute now. But yeah, so essentially by that skull having parts that are removable, I can go and I can choose which teeth to have. So they have variation between them. And that's pretty handy for creating different varied faces, that kind of stuff. But yeah, on that note, I am going to go pee. It is break time. I will be... Okay. I'll be right back. It's pee o'clock. One moment, por favor. Bam, bam, bam. I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go. Be right back, guys. Okay, and we're back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Heading to the shop early to paint a bit more. I'll rejoin when I get there. Good morning if I miss y'all. Bye, Johnny. Johnny boy. Oh, Johnny boy. The shop is calling. That was a really good song. Thanks. That is my old band, Fur and Teeth. It is the same track as the intro to the channel. Too Good to Forget. A 9-minute opus. Yeah. Yeah. I likes to play the musics. I have not done that in a hot minute outside of like, I've not done that. I haven't played guitar in a hot minute since I was in a band called Guts, all caps, with an exclamation mark. I know, right, JJ? Yeah, that's me. I played guitar and sang in Fur and Teeth. I could totally listen to that. Oh, hell yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. But yeah, Fur and Teeth. And the EP, that is from the EP called Plateau Don't Plummet. Which almost all, it's also on Bandcamp. And I think also so is the full length. I think the full length is on Bandcamp. If it's not, then it's on SoundCloud. But the full length is definitely a different beast. It's definitely me. It's a grief album. It's me dealing with falling out of love with music and struggling with that from a concept standpoint. Whereas Plateau Don't Plummet was a much more carefree, happy, really, really happy album. But all of the song names are typically just jokes that my bandmate and roommate Sean and I made over the course of living with each other, which there is a pretty solid music video on YouTube called They Didn't Take Our Beds that was very, very, very fun to make. That's the one typically when people know Fur and Teeth, they know from that song. Because it's very, very, very dancey. Man, my hands are shaking. I need to get out the old hand stabilizer. Just very fiddly little bits. But yeah, no, I love playing music. I love writing music, love playing music, love performing. But it is difficult getting past knowing how successful your endeavor. I can only ever be too fully into. Sweet, thank you. Oh, thank you. Full length is on Bandcamp. Gotcha. What's the old hand stabilizer? Whiskey? No. So the old hand stabilizer is literally a hand stabilizer. It's I'll bust it out so you guys can see it. I don't think I've gone through my fun box, which I can show. I can show that. So, moving grief. Just a second to look at this omnidirectional spherical vise. So, this is from a company called Distillery. And I am a big, big fan of them. They are a Chinese company, and they absolutely are the response to anybody that is just like, oh, things made in China are not made well. Fuck that opinion, because Distillery is a Chinese company, and they make the highest quality tools for like miniatures on the planet, in my very firm opinion. And I think that my opinion's pretty valid because I've got like 27 years in this bitch. But from every aspect, the packaging is just stupid. Everything that I've ever got from them, the packaging is just, it's nuts. And then the machining quality of their parts is just stupid. But yeah, so a while back I ordered a bunch of goodies. Rad. Overly specific tools. Haha. Absolutely. Like everything that they make is very much, if you did not do this kind of stuff, you would have no idea what the fuck it was for the most part, or when you would use it. Um, but if you use it, you're like, holy shit, I could use that. Bitching about Chinese projects is usually just racism. Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, that's it. Like, I know it's just like the whole, and I can't stress enough, that's not, I'm not trying to say anything remotely racist. I'm just, I, if something is said and it's like, oh yeah, that's like a general opinion, like I'm fine to discuss it, because it's just like, usually I disagree strongly, and I feel like explaining why I disagree with that is important to me. But yeah, I bought so much shit from Disbay, and a lot of this stuff I already had, but, well, I didn't have it, but I did not need a new one. But I wanted to make sure before I go and I recommend things to my community that I know that they're good. So all the things, these are anti-static tweezers, which if you've watched this channel or the Morning Hobby Hangs for a hot minute, you definitely know how much I've said, man, I really need some of those. I really need some of those. Because the tools, the tweezers that I have, these are all from UMM, which are a USA company. And I don't remember what UMM stands for, but I like UMM a lot. I don't like them as much as Disbay. But they are a specialty tool company that is mainly, they mainly are around in like the scale modeling community. And that's so much of my tools that I use that now you'll see popping up in a lot of other tool places are just, yet I had to do a lot of digging in like old grandpa forums, as I like to say, and listen to dudes that talk about like building trains and building tanks and stuff that I don't build, to see how they do very specific things. Rivet counters are absolutely my kind of people. People that like, I can't stress, like if they give so many shits about like Sherman tanks that they're like, nope, that doesn't have the right amount of rivets on the side, because they care. And I don't ever think that should be used for like putting people down. But I absolutely understand giving enough shits to try and replicate something that you really care about down to the minute detail. That is definitely a part. I don't have it that strong, but it's definitely something I can understand. But it's not anything to like, complain to people about, or like be like, you didn't put the right amount of rivets on, dude. Not everybody cares about that, but for people who do, I can understand why they do. So yeah, these are tweezers, anti-static tweezers, and the reason that they are important is, as you see me fucking around with all these little pins, the bad part of this is, given that I fuck around a lot with neodymium magnets, very tight butthole. Yeah, exactly. Given that I fuck around with a lot of very small pins, and I often have neodymium magnets on my desk, they are very prone to clicking to one of these. If they touch this, it's fucked. It is now magnetic, and it will be magnetic pretty much forever. And I looked a little bit into that the other day, but as soon as, like, given that it's so thin and it's just X amount of metal, if a magnet touches there and it's a strong enough magnet, it can actually keep, this piece of metal can then hold its magnetism, and I almost guarantee, yep, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. See all these little pins that I just picked up? I didn't even touch them with the tweezers. It's just tweezers themselves. Neodymium. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Ross. I appreciate that. But yeah, these are anti-static, which means that they will not get magnetized. These are the hobby knives. I'm just gonna do a little show and tell here, which I have yet to use. I did remove them, and I love the cap. It's a very good cap, which again, the two of these was, I think, 20 bucks. Like, it was a $20 set. So 10 bucks a piece. Goddamn. And you still pronounce it the same way. Oh, neodymium? Neodymium? Good morning. I came into magnets and immediately thought about ICP. that is, yeah. Magnets. How the hell do they work? Did I get it right that time, Roz? Neodymium? Neodymium. which if you're wondering, no, I'm not going to get those out. That's a bad idea. Look them up. I don't want to bring one out and accidentally magnetize anything. But yeah, my go-to for a long time for hobby knives is Excel. Um, there you go. Okay, neodymium. Also, good morning, Shankly. Welcome, welcome. So the reason that for the longest time, yeah, that's how I've always heard neodymium pronounced. Okay, cool. No, thank you. I appreciate knowing how to say things right or correctly. The reason that I like Excel is because unlike let me grab an X-Acto. I have a fuck ton of them. But I don't really use them because I often manhandle damn near everything that I touch. I'm very heavy-handed when it comes to working with stuff, unless I know I have to be very soft. The biggest, how the fuck did they work? Yeah, okay. I can't think of ICP and not think of, I'm Chris Benoit. Like, I don't, well, actually, the first thing I think of when I think of ICP is whoop whoop. And then after that, I think of Crack That Dome, Playa, from Workaholics, which, fuck me. The episode when they go to the Dark Carnival is so good. But yeah, so an X-Acto knife. The way an X-Acto knife works, as I'm sure most of you know, is you unscrew this little top bit here, and that opens up the chuck. So then you put the blade down in there and you tighten it. The Gathering episode is incredible. Yes, so good. The Excel, instead of the actual way to open the chuck, is back here. So you do that. And the reason that this comes into, there's a Faygo in the fridge and it tastes ill. The reason that I do that, Excel makes the best knives. Yeah, like that's, I have hurt myself too many times because it's flatter than a bitch on a big, oh God. It's, if you're doing a lot of cutting and you have to apply pressure, if you are using a standard, X-Acto style blade, that means that your hand is going to be on the part that tightens the chuck. So over time, it just becomes looser and looser and looser, and then eventually it can slip. And I've had that happen too many times, especially if you're really trying to just work fast. And it's, that's why I switched. I switched to Excel because the actual tightening mechanism is back here where you never touch, so it never gets loosened. These, I believe, are a very similar situation in that it's back here. This is the part that you turn to release this. And again, I have not fully run these through their paces. They're definitely much more precise tools. And also, I love just the sheer amount of like very, very, very high quality machined aluminum that they make their stuff out of. And I really like that the cap is big enough that it goes over the whole thing. Back to work, love you. You have your money in your Venmo. Now you can blow up and act like you don't know nobody. Thank you so much, Shankly. Thank you for your patronage. No, I'm very, very, very excited that you like the model. Yeah, so pretty much it comes with that. Comes with a little holder with more blades inside there. Damn, those are some little blades, baby. And I think this side, yep, that's a trash side. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's just, they're very clearly a company that knows the product because they use that kind of shit. So I've yet to find anything that they've made that does not seem like it's like, yep, that's worth picking up. Y'all need some affiliate codes, homie. So I've been trying to harass Disbay to sponsor me. Same thing with Bamboo Labs. I do, on the Discord, there is a code to their, it's their membership thing. Essentially, if you use the code on their store from my Discord, you get 8% off every order. And then the more people who use that, I get a discount code. But, oh yeah, no, their tools, everything also. I'm a very big fan of the colors, but lots of black and red, which, given that those are my logo's colors, I'm also a big fan. See, we need to be friends, Disbay. Disbay, send me things. I've already bought almost everything, but the brushes are something that I'm really excited about. And so essentially they are, again, anodized aluminum. Up here at the top, you have a little spot where you can change the size. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So on here, like this is a 3. So if I put this one in, I would put it there. You unscrew this. Yeah, this is a brush. So little spring, put the spring back in there. Well, actually, I guess I don't think the spring, nope, it goes in there. Maybe out first. Yep, out first. I probably have to take the cap off, right? Yep, that was it. Okay, cap off. Where'd the spring go? There's the spring. Put the spring back in so it has tension. Yeah, and I cannot stress enough. Like, I think these are $10. $10. And then they sell, where did they go? All of the, here they are. All the other tips. And they are, I think, $5 for 3. But they have 3.0, 2.0, 4.0, and 5.0. Wait, paintbrush or clean brush? I missed it. It's a paint. Yeah, these are paint brushes. So, and then this at the top, you turn that so you can select which size nib or brush head you have on there. And then, oh, let's just get it. And then a little painting holder, which also very rad. So essentially, all the things. Oh God, that fucks. Yeah, no, it's so good. And I cannot stress enough. I was really thinking about when I saw what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, that's really cool. But then I went and I looked at the product, and the very first thing that they say is, when looking into this, that they wanted to make something that was, you know, ecologically viable. And that really, I mean, that resonated with me, because it's just like, one, if you did not actively give a shit, then you can kind of tell by how the half-assed the product is. But everything that I've gotten from them makes me think that they give a lot of shits about what I love. So I kind of give them like, yeah, I assume that when they say that they want to do something to help the planet, I can kind of believe them. But yeah, because all of this is, you know, the only part that is wasted is this tip part, and I mean, I'll find something to use that for. But not having to just throw brushes out anymore is something that I really appreciate, because I do feel wasteful when I do that. But so essentially, all of their stuff that sits on your desk or whatnot comes with a little magnetized thing, so it can just, you can slip that on there, and glue it, or so that, yeah, the magnet goes there, kind of holds that in place. This sits right there. You pull the well up, and this is just a well to catch any kind of moisture. And by having it down in that well, it also keeps your brush from getting too dry. JJ, I'm broke. I just moved and bought a house. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. I know all about those vibes. But I really like this. The brushes, they've got 4 different colors. They've got red, black, gray, and I think like a sage green. I just picked up the red. Eventually, I'll probably get the black, but I needed to not buy everything. But eventually I'll probably have one for each of the different sizes. That way I can keep them organized well. But that's something that I really liked, and I really appreciated. I like to see when people give a shit about things that I give a shit about, and the planet is a big one of them. So there we go. I hate putting tips back in their covers because I'm always anxious that I'm gonna fuck it up, but I didn't. Well, a roof is better than a fancy brush. That is true. That is very true. But next time you need a brush, please keep them in mind, because, I mean, and that's the other thing, price-wise, they're really not, the difference in price is not, it's not crazy. And that's the other thing, is like all the things that like I bought, it's just like they're very reasonably priced compared to other things in the hobby. And the presentation and the quality is just stupid. This is the saw. And I just pulled that foam off there, it's okay. So yeah, this is a handsaw. Zoom out there a little bit, which I have needed one for a hot minute because I have been using the JLC, the JLC Libot Ropik. It's a Russian saw that I originally had to get this one off of eBay, but now they sell them in a lot of other places. But it uses these very, 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 very thin blades, like hair thin, which is really, really, really important for when you're doing really, really, really delicate work. But I ordered the saw, that's a fine, and then they've also got a extra fine. These are just extra blades, and they come on a little sheet, I believe. Before I said it, yeah, come on a little sheet. But very, very excited to have that now. A nice small saw, because this is just, the head on here means that you cannot put it into a lot of places that you can put this into. Yes, I will love my house once its minor issues are fixed up. That, oh boy, I don't want to be that guy, but Roz, I don't think that ever stops. At least it doesn't in my case. You get started and you're just like, oh, I gotta fix this, 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 and that's not me being like, it's just, there's always something. Owning a house, but that's part of it. Let's see. But yeah, no, I'm very, very, very happy for you. But yeah, man, fixing up houses is just, it's one thing after the other forever. This is a very specific tool, but again, I think it was like $9, so I definitely picked it up because I've been on the, on the fence of picking one up for a very long time. But essentially, this is for bending wire. It is a wire bending tool. And that's just a very quick, no dog, my cold tap spits water out the back and I need the roof patched. These are very specific. Okay, yep, nope, okay, yep, I get you. Nah, dog, it's a whole different thing. Yeah, so this is essentially a wire bending tool to enable that we can get the exact kind of bend or shapes that we are wanting, and in a very repeatable size. So there are different little marks on there, 1 through 12, and I'm sure that correlates to probably millimeters, but I could be mistaken. Let me readjust. There we go. Lighting is a little hard to see. These are also not the biggest tools, but yeah. So essentially, this is a aluminum alloy stepped wire roller. Very handy for scratch building. Freehand bending of metal wire and PE parts barely gives satisfactory results. Our wire roller helps forming coils an elegant gradient of photo etched parts. Step design with 12 diameters for wide variety choice, finely engraved scales for quick and easy measurements. But yeah, the very, very solid. This is a chamfering tool. I believe it is called the Ideal chamfering tool. Yeah, Ideal plastic chamfering tool. This thing is wild. This is definitely more of a scratch building tool. How do I? So yeah, what this thing does is it is for when you take a barrel, like say you have a plastic tube that you are wanting to make. Oh, okay, I just ordered the brush and 4 nibs. Hell yeah, JJ, there you go. Nice. When you take a plastic tube and you want to add beveling to it, so like a barrel, like a gun barrel, when you look at a gun barrel, it's not just a flat end. It's typically got a little bit of a curve to it, and that is what this side is. You feed the tube in there. Let me see if I can show it. First try, we'll see how this works. Yep, okay, I can already tell that that's gonna work. Yep. All right, so pretty much, I just took that. As you just saw, I've never used this thing. I just opened it from the box the very first time. That is the other side. That is where it is flat from where I cut it. This is after putting it in the chamfering tool. So essentially, it now has a very uniform beveled edge on the outside of the barrel. The inside of this is, I don't know if that's going to work on this. It might. Is essentially the opposite. It goes on the inside of the barrel. Yeah. And you can't see it too well because it's, again, I've not done any practicing whatsoever with this. I just kind of wanted to showcase how this thing works. Just sticking that in there. And now I have a much more realistic looking barrel where in the event that I'm wanting to make sure it like looks more real, that will be very handy because it's just a very, very, very small detail thing that, depending on how big of a barrel you're trying to, you know, put on there, it can be very noticeable. That's the wrong side. This side? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is the ideal chamfering tool. It's a very specific kind of tool for a very specific kind of thing, but I don't know a better efficient way to make realistic looking barrel ends or pipe ends time-wise. Okay, and now the thing that you actually asked about. So this is the precision hand stabilizer. Use tips of ring fingers and middle fingers to pinch the support lever. Let palm and little finger cover the ball link with ease. Hi, princess. Alternatively, you may hold the supporting lever with one side of tweezers and your middle finger while letting your palm and little finger cover the ball link with ease. Hold the supporting lever with the middle finger and side of your tweezers, but put your palm edge against your workbench and the pedestal. This is ideal for picking tiny objects up off the surface. So, that's a support lever. That thing's fucking beefy and heavy. Marco says, Dad, make sure you tell them about the link. How am I going to go to college without it? So essentially this is a hand stabilizer. So in the event that you are wanting to keep your hand from shaking, it would just, you could hold that right on there. And again, I need to look and actually use it. But it is yeah, it's just essentially to, out of focus, Eli, shit. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, guys. Honey. So there's a couple different ways to do it. Oh, yeah, that's great. That would definitely. That's rad as fuck. So yeah, just like a little palm rest that, because this thing, I mean, that, I don't want to drop it on the table because I don't want to, I mean, I absolutely am certain it would not do a damn thing to this. It would fuck up my table, I'm sure. But that is heavy as shit. You could kill someone with that for certain. But the more and more I like, honey, one moment, I will pick you up and I will show you to everybody in just a second. Girl, I swear this one is so needy. But yeah, their tools are just insane quality and very handy for what we do. Okay, where are you? I'll pick you up. I'll show you to the people. The people need to see you. Is that it? They do. Alrighty, if you insist. I know, I'm trying to. You're running away from me, though. Take me to my people. Margot is space peephole. Boopa doopa boopa 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 boop. Boopa 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 boop. Beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. Jumbo. Hi everybody. But Dad, the ad spot will be done by the time you pick me up. They look like German-made stuff. Yeah, they absolutely do. I know what you mean by that. Like, that's one of the whole reasons that, like, the first car I ever bought was a Volkswagen, and it was because I cannot stress enough, it just is what it is. German engineering is the best on the planet. Like, those people were made to make things. And after that's probably like Japanese, like the things that are made from people in certain areas, it's just like, man, they just for some reason have some of the smartest people working on certain things. And like German engineering is typically over engineered to hell. And I'm all about that life. Uh, but yeah, I over engineered the shit out of my basement because I want my wife to be able to vacuum and do her hair while I'm running a drill press and the circuit breaker not trip. I want them to be, if it ever flips, someone's doing something stupid in my house because it's, honey. She's now just on the other side of the spray booth just screaming at me. Dad, you get back to work on grief. You got to work on grief, Dad, remember? Remember, Dad? I'm trying, Margot. I was just trying to show off these new toys. All the new toys. I went through 3 airbrushes before getting my Hardner and Steenbeck Ultra, and it's just fine. I've got an Iwata, and then I have a Mr. Actually, it's not Mr. Hobby. I think it's Krios. Let me see. Yeah, Iwata. I really like Iwata. I've got a HPCS Eclipse, and then a Krios. Yeah, a Krios PS270. It's a 0.2. That one is specifically for very fine stuff, whereas my Iwata is just a workhorse. Being able to switch between different size needles is definitely handy, especially for like trying to spray turbo torque. Any true metallic is going to be difficult to spray unless it is like a lacquer, just because of the thickness of the actual flakes of metal in there. I've only used my Badger Patriot 105. I got a Neo from Fiverr, but yet to crack it. Hell yeah. I was dumb and cheap and got 2 from Harbor Freight. They were junk. Even with a quality airbrush, airbrushing is such a, well, I'm sure I'll find that pin later because it's in the, I'm gonna have to get down here on the ground and look for it. I don't want to step on that. Fuck. Airbrushing is very much one of those things that in my head, I'm just like, it's kind of like guitar. When you're first starting out, you kind of want to get a good one if it's something that you know you're going to use, or you're going to get very upset because when they reduce the price on them, I think, yeah, it's just like a guitar. A cheap guitar, if you know how to play already, you can pick it up and you can make it work. But if you are just learning, a lot of the things that are very difficult to get used to will be compounded because of the lower quality. And that I feel like is true with airbrushing. So I can completely understand that. It's kind of like spray painting. Until you learn certain things, you don't know what you're doing wrong. And while you're doing them wrong, you're getting frustrated, and it makes you want to do it less, so you don't use it as much. That's kind of where the whole relating it to a guitar. A lot of cheaper guitars, they have, it's not the stuff that like, oh yeah, it makes it sound. It's more of like making sure the neck is completely straight, making sure that the frets are not sharp, making sure that the tuning heads hold tune, which these are all things like my very first guitar did not have at all. But there are also plenty of cheap things that will do it, but you gotta dig through the internet to find them. And that is, of course, a reference to Dungeon Daddy, the guitar I bought 4 times while being drunk, until eventually being like, I need to quit canceling this when I sober up in the morning. I clearly want the thing, and it's like $100. But a very, very great intro guitar. Holds tune very well, which is honestly probably the most important thing when you're just learning how to play. That's a completely different tangent on a different subject, but it made me think of it. Yes, JJ, I wasn't born yet. I'm old. Okay, fuck. Where did that go? I need to make the hole deeper. I got a Badger for graduation back in '92. It was my first airbrush, and it was a beast. Oh man, hell yeah. 92. Yeah, I would have been 5. But hell yeah, so you got some time in there. All about it. Let's see if I can put some nails in there before that glue dries. That was kind of a bad idea on my part, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I should make sure I'm still in focus. 1, 2. Come on. That hole is just not very deep at all, so I'm gonna grab a smaller one. That way it does not stick out as far. I'm gonna grab this. There we go. Just push with my thumb. Put a little more glue on there so we can try to get it all caked on. And back over here to this one. Well, we've almost gotten one of the arms nailed. I did take a little bit of a break to do show and tell of different tools, but I think that was a good use of time. It's a good thing for the hobby hang. But yeah, I would like Distillery to see the kind of value that I can offer them, because I don't like to pander. There are a few things I think that are as convincing of a selling point as someone who legitimately loves your products and has very, very, very high expectations, of which I do. Yes. Okay, that came unglued. We got it. There we go. Really? Damn. Okay, I'm still jamming to Milkman. They dropped an album recently. Back in the days, I was jamming to Dead Milkman and Circle Jerks. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Circle Jerks. I don't think I have heard the Dead Milkman. I am familiar with the Circle Jerks. Yeah. Oh, and I guess, well, I'll put this needle in, and then I'll go grab the other thing. My favorite tool from Distillery. I'll show that, because it's my favorite. I use it every time. Absolute goat. Where are you? Where the hell is my vise? Where are all my vices at? Here we go. So this mini vise, this is my absolute favorite tool from Distillery. So yeah, they have electric drills. They have two different. They have a electric drill, and then they have an electric sander. I don't have those yet. I definitely want to pick them up, because I've got these two Dremels, and I do like them, but we just saw that they cannot hold the most fine-sized needles. But this is my favorite thing that I have from Distillery. It is a handheld vise that you can see it's the quality is just amazing, but being able to know for certain that whatever I have on here is not coming up, and if not, like this vise is, again, very high standards, and this is the only brand that like I would honestly put my name alongside. It's just like, yep, if they make something, I'm sure it fucks, because everything that I have from them has been extremely worth my time of picking up. But this is my favorite. It's just a handheld vise that is extremely high quality, very well made. It can sit on a little stand, so if I want to work on something, but I don't want it to be in my hand, I can keep it on there and kind of just. But if I want to get closer, I can pick it up and just. But yeah, that's my favorite thing so far. I'm trying to do my best to make sure I don't buy more than one, because I have a tendency, if I find something that I really like and I use a lot, aka the Dremel, I typically pick up two, because then I can work on two things at once. In the Dremel, the reason I have two of those is often I will put lots of holes in stuff, as we're doing here. Often I need, all the tools just seem so freaking neat too. That's it. Yeah, they all are very high quality. The presentation, the very first tool I bought, I'm kind of feeling the show and tell. The very first tool that I bought from them are some specialty tools that I've yet to use. Well, no, that's not true. I've used these. I've not used this yet, but it is a photo etch part spender. And again, I was like, holy shit, the presentation. But yeah, stainless steel. It is a bending board essentially, and everything that's like big enough to like hold in your hands and is not like a hop, you could absolutely kill someone with, because it is stainless steel. And it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, go out and be violent. I'm just like, it's not plastic. It's not cheap. It's not, you're not going to have to worry about it breaking. Like, it was made to last a lifetime. And I love that. And the fact that they're able to make that stuff that I'm confident will live as long as I do, because of just how quality it is, for the price that's either the same or less than somewhere else, is just staggering to me. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'd like to be, but they just make products that I love. And I only recommend shit that I really, truly love. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a photo etch parts bender. In order to get a very clean, crisp bend sometimes, you need to have a very specific kind of tool. Again, it's not a all the time kind of thing. It's just a very good for certain things. And then this is like a little bit more in depth. And this has the craziest. This is definitely the most fancy packaging that they've got, I think, is the rolling set. So this, again, magnetized lid. And this is a little difficult to get out without dropping them. But again, it's because they're heavy. They are made of steel. I'm gonna have to do the thing. But yeah, this is a rolling pin set. So you would use these if you are needing to have a very, very specific bend in a part. And with photo etch, which would be this stuff, it's extremely thin metal. Fuck, I just fell victim to the AP mixing ball clog. Damn. That'll do it. AP. Army painter. Okay. I had to think about what AP was. Yeah, sometimes you really got to put a little ball in there, and other times you're like, man, I wish there wasn't a ball in here. It's really good for cleaning or for mixing, but yeah, when the clog happens, essentially you take, say I needed to get this gate and I wanted it to bend at this angle, I would put it on there and I would push this down. And by being made out of very smooth stainless steel on both sides, it would have a very, very perfect bend. If we were wanting it to be a little more square bend, that's where the other tool comes in. So yeah, different tools for different things. One other thing that they make that I wish I didn't already have something like it, because I have an old tool called the chopper, which the chopper is for processing styrene parts. If you are wanting to make repeatable same cuts, that is what you would use it for. That's the chopper. That's an old. It's an old one. It's very nowhere near as quality as like what Display puts out, but essentially it's just like a paper cutter with a razor blade. and it has little gauges where you can fit, so you can make sure that you get the exact degree cut that you're wanting every time. It's very handy for processing large amounts of styrene if you're doing terrain. Terrain is the main thing I use that for. But yeah, they've got all kinds of wonderful tools, and I wanted to make sure I picked up the ones that I thought people would be most likely to pick up, so I can test them before I say, yeah, everything that they have is great. I love the new AP line of paints. No, what's that angle raws? I love the new AP line of paints. They sure do. I have not messed around much with Army Painter, but I probably should, because I know my buddy Dave Taylor, he's a big fan of them, and I trust his opinion very much. Outside of the sprays, when we were in Texas last year, I did need primer because did not have half the shit painted that needed to be painted, and hence that's where I learned about the old Texas spray down from old Johnny Boy. But yeah, I've used their sprays, and their sprays are just fine. And then I've got some of their dried blood. I take that back, and I love that. It's very good. It does make what you're putting it on look like dried blood. There's one right there, one right there. So yeah, let's try to get a few more of these little spots glued in. We want to go ahead and pull my hair off of there. You crazy hair, what are you doing? Get out of here. And then grab a little thing here, grab a little pin, put a little pin in it. Just put a pin in it. Yeah. But yeah, so that's just a whole bunch of show and tell of disc base stuff. I'm a big fan. And I've reached out to them a couple times being like, hey, I think we should be friends. And they've not responded. There's a website, Gamer School, that sells Army Painter about 40% cheaper than anyone else that I can find. That's wild. That's a hell of a discount. Very solid. I'll drill that hole a little bit deeper. I have yet to try Disbay's hand drill, or pin vise, if you will. Again, that is one that I definitely will try eventually, but I have been using Starrett for a very long time. They are a woodworking tool company. They've been around a very long time, but their whole thing is making precision tools, very precision tools. And I will say that the teeth on that pin vise are one of the most oddly satisfying things ever. It is every time you put a bit in there, it sits perfectly inside there. The teeth are just very fun to watch close and open. And they have 3 different sizes. Essentially, there is a small, this is A, B, and then there's C. I don't have C because I don't really need anything that big. From there, we can just move to a Dremel. But there is an overlap in between these 2 sizes where one bit can fit in there and then fit in the other, but it's a very small overlap. And they do that to make sure that the teeth are very accurate all the way through without being too big or bulky for some parts and then not bulky enough for others. So it's very well thought out. But again, Starrett's been doing stuff for hundreds of years, I'm pretty sure. I think like 18 something, if not earlier, is when that company was founded. And they are a little bit on the pricier side. I do believe that probably Dispays is probably cheaper, but I have not tried it yet. I would assume, based on everything else, though, that it's just as good a quality. God, that looks rad. Is that a hole? I think it is. Yep, that's a hole. So we need one right there. Alrighty. Yeah, right there. Okay. That is where all the little pins are. Looking very good, very creepy. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chat disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you. Successfully connected. Bam. The arch in its back is just perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of just. It's a very unsettling monster. The legs, I'm very happy with extending them out. I think if they were too short, it just did not have the kind of look that I was really going for. But I am debating if we want to have pins all the way, like on the parts of the arms where the skin's pulled away from, but I think not. I think just having them on the parts where the flesh is still there, other than the face. The face, I want it to look like it's still kind of connected on there. But yeah, the chest, shoulders, and the arms, I really like the idea of them being covered in pins. If you do, I would go with fewer pins. That's it. I think definitely the arms, I like them just being covered in pins. And same thing with the shoulders. But yeah, I think I don't want it to be too busy by any means, but I do like how gnarly that looks with all the pins in its arms. Just very, very grisly. Yeah, very good. Man, shit, I really thought that we could finish this guy today, but I got off on a little distraction showing all the little things. But I'm glad I showed them because I've needed to get them out and look at them properly. And I'm glad to show them to people that want to see them. So yeah, pretty much just need to do that arm and then fill in these gaps around the eyes and stuff, which I've been trying to make sure that I do not do anything on Grief off stream. Paint salvaged. Hell yeah. Paint salvaged. Glad too. How about that brush? Hell yeah. No, that's rad. I'm really pleased with all the stuff. I'm really excited to use it, but everything that I've used from them has just been like a game changer. So, and that's it. I want to make sure that I'm able to recommend stuff that I know is good quality, because I don't want anyone to feel like they buy anything that, oh, well, Eli said that he really liked that. Just like, if I said I really liked it, I mean it. I'm pretty much incapable of being like, I like a thing and not liking it. You'll know. My face will let you know. So I just try not to. I'm not a yes man. Roz, it could have been a Citadel pot. Yeah, that... Citadel pots, man. There are certain paints that they have made over the years that I'm like, it's worth fighting for or fighting with. But a lot of it, I'm just like, it's time to find a different paint. Yeah, nope, that's it. And even then, it's just like the paints that I like that they've made. I wouldn't have had this exact issue with the Citadel pot. That is true. Without a Citadel pot, you wouldn't have had the issue. Paint might have dried up earlier, or you might have spilled it. And you can tack down a pot, that is true. You could tack down a pot. Typhus Corrosion was like the first paint that they ever made that I'm like, I love that paint. And that's really honestly what led me to start really messing with putting in texture into my paints. The very first thing that I used Typhus Corrosion on was Brigar. I'll go grab him. He was the first true scale Marine that I ever made. Back way, way, way back when. Long before Primaris was a thing. Back on the ammo bunker. But this is the Plague Marine that my buddy Sam just paid for. Played during our Black Crusade campaigns. This is Brigar the Undying. He does not die. That was his whole thing. His whole thing was just being very, very, very hard to kill. Everyone else died in our campaign when a Night Titan's reactor went haywire and were vaporized, and he was fine. So, but yeah, this is the first model I ever painted using like some typhus corrosion and really started to get into texturing very heavily. But I'm very, very, very pleased with him still. Love this model. Lots of, on the base, there's all kinds of little small dots. That is when I first, and same with the backpack, all these itty bitty little micro beads. Those are from a Brita filter. That's when I started messing with that kind of stuff. He's looking fine. Thank you. What a gnarly boy. Yeah, Brigar is gnarly. Very, very, very gnarly. Very, very happy with how he turned out. Also, chestnut ink. They made chestnut ink, and I really like that. It's very good. Did you texture paste him? So essentially, the main things of texture are, in typhus corrosion has very, 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 very small little grit. And I kind of used that quite a bit. And then like on the blade has a very, very fine, rough texture because of that. I used, yeah, it's very, 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 very fine. So almost like baking powder. And that's when I started like messing with baking powder. But he has much more specific paste or specific texture. I did not do a lot of my stuff now. I like to kind of coat, and I'll throw hermit crab sand, depending on how noticeable the granules I want, or baking powder, baking soda powder. But this one, it was mainly just Brita filter stuff, which is all along the base. These little deep beads, those are from the inside of a Brita filter. Very irregular, variant-sized little balls. But yeah, mainly just that, and then a little bit of baking powder, I believe, and typhus corrosion is all the texture. Yeah, baking soda. Yeah, baking soda powder. Baking soda. I guess baking soda is a powder. Yeah, baking soda. I use a lot of baking soda. But yeah, that's Brigar. He's the first one that I ever painted with typhus corrosion, which led me to really, really, really wanting to include texture on things, because everything in our world has texture. There's very, very few things that have a smooth surface. And the more texture that we have, the more inks, the more washes, the more highlights, like everything really kind of pops more, the more texture we're putting it on. I think it's the same thing, isn't it? Although I don't know. Baking soda? Yeah, baking soda, baking powder. I think they're the same thing. I've got a box in here. No, I don't. I emptied the box and threw it away. But yeah. Well, it just says baking soda on it, so it is a powder, but folks can use it with baking powder too often. My last job was at Claverville. Gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, baking soda. Baking soda is a powder, but very, 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 very small amounts can be really good, like just a dusting for things like Brigar, and that's essentially the same size grit that they have inside of typhus corrosion. So as long as you've got another kind of medium, I often use PVA glue, heavily watered down PVA glue, just to get it to stick, because it's such a small granule. Yeah, sodium bicarbonate. Baking powder is mostly cornstarch. Okay, yeah, sodium bicarbonate is what this is. But yeah, I use soda here. I have a box in front of me. Hell yeah, it's great. It's great for texturing. Snow, it's good for snow. There's definitely, I don't think there's any baking soda on him, but there's definitely some on a lot of my models. I use it on a lot of my stuff. All of his siblings, or other demons in the the group typically saw a little bit of that, or hermit crab sand. I use hermit crab sand, which is calcium bicarbonate. Yeah, it's essentially just very, 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 very fine granuled sand that is made from smashed shells. And the cheapest way to buy that is for hermit crabs. Yeah, that's the best way to get a large amount of that stuff very cheap. Because you can buy a very large bag of it. And the reason I like it is because it does not dissolve when you put glue there. So like with baking powder, depending on how much saturation you put on there, eventually it kind of turns into like a mush. Calcium bicarbonate, it does not. It still retains its granule size. I have a rock quarry up the road, and the guy who runs the scale, let me grab a coffee can full of sand. I'm said, oh yeah, that'll do it. That's legit. Hell yeah, the best way to get baking soda is to work at the factory. That also will work. Hell yeah. Well, I really wanted to try to finish Grief, but shit, we can do that tonight during the hobby stream. Yeah, we'll do that tonight. I think I'll feel better about that, trying to get him done today. Yeah. But I gotta get back to work on these houseies and all the 1490 Doom stuff so I can stay on track. I'm already late. I'm late. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out. I think we're gonna probably stop here. I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody. Thank you, Possum. Thank you, Mowgli. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Fume. Thank you, Roz. Thank you, JJ. I think that's everybody. Shankly, of course. Shankly hopped in. Yeah, I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody. Hopefully, I don't think I missed anybody. But and also anybody just watching and not in the chat, thank you as well. Again, say it every time. I'll say it every time. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have. Did you say Mr. Witchhammer? Yeah, Johnny. The old Johnny boy. But yeah, thank you, Witchhammer Studios, aka Johnny Boy, aka Johnny. But yes, see you after my long nap, homies. Hell yeah. Take care. Your time is the most important thing that you have, most valuable resource. The fact that you want to share it with me means the world to me. If you want to support my work and keep that going, there's a link in the description. But yeah, there's that. Take care of yourselves and each other. Sit pretty. I will see you guys tonight. Again, thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. Yeah, that's it. Bye, friends. I'll see you guys 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern time will be the evening hobby hang. Until then, take care, guys. Bye, friends.